All right, our next game surprised the world at the Ubisoft press conference. It's an ambitious game that involves hackers, assassins, and a whole lot of mystery. With us now is Watch Dogs.
Thanks, Naomi. I'm Damon Hatfield. Hello, viewers. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by top watchdog, Jonathan Moran.
Yes.
I was practicing that. It's very good. How does it feel to have the surprise of E3?
It feels pretty amazing, to be quite frank. I wish the entire team was on the stage when people started to cheer about the game. Like, it's exciting and hard to do such a surprise. And Ubisoft gave us that privilege and that fate, and we're really excited about it.
You told me you've been working on it for 2 years now?
Yeah, we've been working on it for a little bit more than 2 years, and there's a lot of resources and a lot of strength that is being put into the project.
I can't believe you were able to keep it secret all this time. That's very impressive.
Thank you. Like, it was really hard indeed. You guys are pretty good at sneaking information.
We pester you a lot trying to figure this stuff out. So tell, what is Watch Dogs? What is the game?
Well, Watch Dogs is an action adventure game that is built at Ubisoft Montreal. It's an open world game that is a state in Chicago. It's about Aiden Pierce, a man shaped by violence who's also obsessed with surveillance because of what happened on his family in the past. So he's going to be forced to take justice into his own hand and progressively take control of an entire city, push his obsession of surveillance and control to the limit, and maybe lost himself along the way. So expect to be able to control progressively every infrastructure, every devices. Well, in fact, anything you think is connected to a computer or connected to Wi-Fi that runs a city, you can control it.
So what type of game would you say this is? How would you describe the gameplay?
It's interesting. Like, I think it's a mix between definitely a lot of action, but also a lot of exploration and curiosity. So a lot of games will go and invite the player to just explore the environment. Us, we're kind of letting you explore human beings as well. So you can go anywhere you want, you can do anywhere you want, but Aiden Pierce look at people around him in a different way. Every person is not a robot following a sidewalk. It's a human being. You can tap into his life. You can find new side quests, new stories about it. So it makes a little bit of the obsession in the end of the player as well. So it's pretty much an action-adventure game that pushes the limit of what it means to live into a living, breathing city.
And you'll be able to play, there's other players in the city, is that correct?
It's correct that we have online experience. Okay. We wanted to tease at this stage and show that there's a possibility there. We think that action-adventure game on the online spectrum has been really typical these days. Like, so they tried with the trends that we currently do in most games. So we wanted to push the boundaries a little bit more and start asking ourselves what it means if Aiden Pierce can control everything and watch everybody. It's logical that someone else is capable of doing the same thing. So what would happen if, anybody in single player and in multiplayer and somewhere in between, we're all watching each other and had an impact on each other. So that's pretty much the kind of excitement that we want to build. It's a bit new, so we're not talking a lot about it for now. We're going to wait to have a controller so people can feel it and describe it accurately.
So in the game demo that you showed at the press conference, and that I think the viewers are watching right now, Aiden goes in, he's looking for a target, he goes into a bar, right? And one of the waiters have QR codes on their heads, is that right? And you can actually scan the QR codes, which takes you to a website. What can you tell us about that website?
Well, the website is basically Dot Connection. It's the company in the show that DeMarco is running. We wanted to make sure at E3 that we show the interiors that reflect our game as much as possible. So we thought that interactive art was interesting for that. It's also a way for us to communicate to players that in our game it's not just about low-key criminals. It's about climbing the ladders, talking about the jet set, the people with the money, the suit-ties guys who control everything. Aiden Pierce is not necessarily that kind of guy who gets in a room, punch a guy in the face until he talks. It's more the kind of guy who gets in a room, relax, sit down at a table, look at the guy in the eyes and say, I'm going to slide an envelope in front of you, and if you don't do exactly as I say, I'm going to destroy your life. And then the player, as he's sliding an envelope, knows he spent 2 hours staging murders, digging into his enemies, watching his family, getting everything around his life to make sure that he does exactly as he says. So it's a very powerful feeling to say that you can tap into people's lives that way. So suddenly the most powerful man in Chicago can be scared of you. It can really have an impact on a corrupted system, and that is pretty interesting, I think.
I think that's part of the reason why everyone was so excited about the game, because it is showing us something different, So many games at E3 is all shooting, stab. bow and arrow, bow and arrow, bow and arrow. Here you're actually doing something different. That's very cool. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Giving new tools to the players.
Yes, I think it's one thing that's interesting is people understand what we're talking about. Like, right? Like a lot of people have been asking us where Watch Dogs come from. What's the concept? Well, it's typical beer discussions about Facebook and information and what's happening in the world. Right? A human being is always reacting to technology in different ways. Like today, it's a new way of people to express themselves publicly. Some people don't like that. Like it gets harder to govern a given society when people have access to information that much. So we were talking about those things, and instead of talking about being a victim of that, we started to ask ourselves, wouldn't it be cool to be that guy, the guy who can tap into that information and to reverse engineer that conversation and to make gameplay out of it. And as soon as we tried it, it was pretty convincing.
Watch Dogs is set in near future, right? Have you told us a certain date or year?
It's actually an interesting question. Like it's present day. The thing that's funny though is every time you really dig into what present day is really deep,
it just
you
sounds
tap
like
into
sci-fi
stuff that some people don't know yet. So for example, CTOS, people think that's futuristic. Well, actually, if you look at Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics, they're actually building a similar system in collaboration with IGN. So CTOS exists in its own way in the real life, and everything the player will do is something that someone somewhere has demonstrated was possible currently.
I see.
So we really want to stay at the edge of what's possible today, because in the end, the brand Watch Dogs is really about the impact of society on today's actual events, and also on maybe the near future events for the future as well.
So in the demo, in this part of the demo, you get to see how you can tap cell phones, sort of listen in on other people's conversations. And that's how he gets clued in that his target knows he's after him, right? Or that he's close by, right? Yeah. Trying to see where we are. And then he gives chase. That leads to, you can he causes a car crash, right?
Yeah.
By hacking traffic lights.
Yeah.
So what can you hack around you? Can you hack basically everything that you see that's electronic?
Yeah, pretty much everything that's an infrastructure element can be hacked. Like, I mean, there's some I can say today, like the one I teased in the demo, you can definitely hack any traffic light in the city, so it's not one thing mission-based. Something you can do at will, like to escape cops, to use an emission or anything like that. You can control the L train. You can tap into every devices, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a cell phone, and a bunch of other surprises that will come in the future.
Well, the game looks awesome. Everyone here at IGN is excited, and I know our viewers have been very excited about it too.
Thank you.
Really, congratulations on a great unveil, and we can't wait to see what you have in store for us. I know when you announced Watch Dogs, we don't have a release date yet, and you didn't even announce what platforms it's coming to. Nobody's listening right now. What platforms is it coming to?
Well, actually, the game is going to be coming out like in more than 1 year for sure.
Okay.
We have an attitude where we're not shipping until it's done. Okay. I know it's a phrase you guys are used to listen to.
Makes
but
sense.
you know, you heard Eve talk about the project on the stage. Like in the end, like they really want to push for that project. So it's the least we can do to make sure that when we put it into the shelves, it delivers on the promise it adds. As far as the platform goes, like we're running on PC. At the current E3. It's official for PS3 and 360. And since we don't have any ship dates, we're really hoping for any other platform and multiple platform for the future. Like in the end, our job right now as a content company is to push content to its limits. And if there's any platform that can improve the experience, then we'll be interested and we'll be listening very carefully in the future.
Sounds great. We're very excited.
Thanks
Can't
a
wait
lot.
to see what you have in store for us.
Thank you.
Back to you, Naomi.
Thanks, Damon. So how excited are you for Watch Dogs? I know I'm excited. Be sure to follow at IGN on Twitter and send a tweet with the hashtag E3. Next up, we're going back to the jungles with Far Cry 3.